Hari Om everyone. We are starting this class on Tattwabodha. We will start with the chanting first. We'll start with the Shanti Path. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunattu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganpatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannutibhi Siddha Sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganpataye Namaha. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varadet Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So let's begin today's class. We are forgetting to chant. We have to chant the first mantra, first shlok of the text also. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshu Nam Hitarthaya Tattwabodho Bhidiyate. Tattwabodho Bhidiyate. So in the last class, we were looking at the portion where we are discussing about the Srishti, which are the creation of the universe, and also how the Jiva, the individual, is actually one with the universe and he is inseparable. So that part, I think some people found a bit tough. So I will also clarify or maybe explain it in a different way today so that we can understand more of that. So what we have seen so far is the initial part we saw, of course, how the different parts of the body, the three different bodies are created. Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir, all created out of the five elements, the Pancha Tattvas. So when these five elements come together, they produce in their subtle state, they produce the subtle organs, the mind, etc. And from their grosser states, they produce the gross body, the visible body that we have. So this body is the medium through which all our actions are performed. So then we move on to the Srishti, which are the creation of the universe. So that again we also saw comes from, first of all, of course, the original source, Brahma, and from his power or his Shakti, Maya. So Maya and Brahman together, they are not different entities. For understanding, some people will say Brahman is the masculine part and Maya is the feminine part. But in actual form, there is no, both are formless. Brahman is also without form. Prakriti, his power also is without form. When any energy that you know of, any energy, be it electricity, heat, you can't see them, right? So you can't see those Shakti. So when you can't see those Shakti, then how can you see that Shakti which is the source of everything? Prakriti or Maya. So that is the source of everything. So this Shakti becomes the beginning point of the universe. So when this universe is manifest, this universe is projected in a way, you can understand this in two different ways. There is the Vedic method, which says that Brahman is the one through which everything is produced. So there, the separation of Sagun Brahman, the created universe, and Nirgun Brahman is not there. Both are one and the same only. So out of his infinite nature, or out of his infinity, or out of his anandam, his joy, the whole universes are created. Or you can take the strictly logical uh, way of presentation of uh, Vedanta, where uh, if you accept that God can be divided into parts, then he will be limited. He will become limited. So God cannot become limited. So this universe is a projection. So you can think any way. It can be either Brahman is all powerful. He can create a world without changing himself, or you can say the whole universe is merely a projection. So we'll just look at this from a diagram. So this is the world. Can you see the world? Nothing is there, right? It's a blank page. It's a blank page. This blank page represents that infinite Brahman. You can see the borders here. Actually, there is no border here. So actually, the borders are all creations of our minds only. So this Brahman is projecting the whole universe out of himself. So when this universe is being projected, his Shakti is doing the job of creating what we call the Jada part, the visible aspects of the universe, the one that does not have inertia or activity. The activity to that is provided by Brahman. So Brahman will project the whole universe with his Maya Shakti. So Maya is his projector. So from the projector, like on a blank screen, you can project a movie. So with that Maya Shakti, which itself is not like you can see a projector, but you cannot see this Maya Shakti. So this Maya is going to project everything out of itself. It seems difficult to conceptualize, but you can understand how even in the change of states of matter, when something gaseous or uh, in some energy slowly condenses to a visible form, then that gas becomes something you can see. It can become liquid, it can become a solid, right? So something that you couldn't see becomes visible. In that way, Maya also is supremely powerful. So it starts projecting this whole universe, and this projection starts to come into shape like this. Can you see something now? This is the word. So this is how the Maya is projecting the whole universe. So this big square that you see, initially it is just it represents only the space that is projected. Initially everything is space. Big Bang is happening, only space is present at that time. That also in a very small point, and then it starts to expand. The space starts to expand, and it's in a super hot state. So slowly it starts to condense, and when it starts to condense, then we say Akashat Vayuhu. From Akash, Vayu is present. So the second part from bottom, Akash is first all is Akash. Then from that Vayu comes the air, or you can say with the super condensed state where only the smallest of particles are there, smaller than even the atoms that we know of. We can call them neutrinos and all the other basic particles of the universe. That represents Vayu. So this Vayu is projecting out from that very same Akasha. It comes out. So Vayu, as we've seen earlier also, they all have gunas. They have some properties by which they become, perceivable by our sense organs. Anything has to have some property, then only it can be perceived by our sense organs. Akash is the most subtle, so that is why it is difficult to be perceived. But it has one property of sound. So whenever sound is produced, you can see somewhere in space sound can be produced, and of course it can be placed in all the other elements also, right? So sound is a property of Akasha, but it is also the property of the next, because everything comes from Akash. So the property will be transferred to the other elements also. And then Vayu comes, the state of gaseous state, when the galaxies are not yet formed, everything is in a super gaseous state. And then finally, it starts to condense further into what we call the energy state. Energy is there. Huge heat waves, everything forming, and then slowly the galaxies are going to be formed, and that is the state of Jala, when slowly the gas is condensed into the liquid state, and then finally Prithvi, the solid state. So in this way, whatever we know of the universe, that also is represented by our Shastras. So this whole universe is projected out of Brahman, right? Brahman is projecting with what? With his Maya Shakti. This Maya Shakti has three gunas, with three basic gunas: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. We saw that earlier. So Sattva represents the knowledge aspect, out of which all the lighter elements are born. So we saw earlier also that how from each of these five elements is acted upon by Sattva. And then Sattva produces what we call the non-visible aspect, the lighter aspect, the knowledge aspect. So from Sattva are born the Gyanendriyas, by which we perceive all the objects of the universe. So all the Gyanendriyas, and of course from the total aspect of Sattva, of all these five elements, then from like from Akashaha, the Gyanendriya that is born is the Shrotrendriya, the hearing power. Yes, and so on. We saw Vayu, Tvacha, Agni, Chakshu, Jala. From Jala is the taste, Rasna, and then from Prithvi is the final, the snows, the Granendriya, we call it. Granendriya is one. So all these are five subtle powers. So that is why we can't see them. Whatever you are seeing is just the organ through which it is functioning. We call it the golak. So from this golakam, all these functions are, these sense organs are functioning, and their function is not seen. But what is seen? They can perceive the sense objects. So uh, from the Rajasic aspect of all of these five elements are born what we call the five karmendriyas, right? The five organs of action. So these karmendriyas we've seen earlier also. They represent Vak, Pani, Pad, Payu, Upastha. Vak, the power of speech; Pani, the grasping power; Pad, the moving power, the feet; then Guda and Upast representing the excretory power, and finally the reproductive power. So these are the karmendriyas. These are born from the Rajasic aspect of the five elements. So I'm not going to too much detail. This we have seen earlier, but just to illustrate the concept, I have gone in this manner. So when this uh, rasic aspect has produced the karmendriyas, then they need to something to on which they can act upon. Karmendriya cannot function without some solid material to act upon. You need some ground to walk on. You need something solid to hold. Whatever, what are those? Those represent the sense objects. So sense objects come from where? They come from the tamasic aspect. So when tamas splits these five uh, five elements or five panch tattvas, then it produces the sense objects of the world. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these are produced, and these are associated with different what we call dravyams or substances. And each substance, with according to the gunas it has, according to the properties it has, there will be a huge variety. So here we see you see the small blocks. All these small blocks represent individuals of the universe, and not just individuals like living beings, but every living and non-living beings. So how do these are coming from Prakriti, which we say is Jadam. It has no moving power of itself, or it has no perceiving power, no knowledge aspect. So where does the knowledge come? So these are what we call the reflecting mediums. All these individuals are the reflecting mediums, be it a stone, be it a tree, be it a human being, right? But whatever be the clarity of their mind, so if a mirror is there, it will reflect the light. But if there is a stone, it will also reflect the light. But you cannot see the reflection in there, because the light reflection is not very sharp, no, not very clear, because the surface is uneven. Because of that, the light is reflected and scattered in different directions. So you can't see through that. So they are opaque. So in the clearest we say is the mind. Those animals that have a very well developed mind. So a plant will have a less developed mind, and a human will have a most developed mind. So all these are reflecting mediums. Where have they come from? They have come from Prakriti. And what has that come from? The consciousness only, from Brahman. So the consciousness and existence part. So all these have come as a projection from there only. So all these are actually Brahman only. They are nothing separate, right? They are not something separate from Brahman. And again, on this reflecting mediums, the consciousness is shining. It is reflecting of these, right? So when it is shining of all of these reflecting mediums, then when the whole is taken, that whole reflecting medium, when it is shining, that is said to be the consciousness that is reflecting of that is called the Paramatma. And then we can split. I am taking one unit from here, this one unit here, and I am expanding it here into one individual. So this one individual has three parts: gross body, subtle body, and causal body. So these three sharirams are there in the individual. And the same are also present in this whole also, in the total, in Ishvara. The full, Ishvara also has these three: gross, subtle, and causal bodies. So gross body, we know, the visible body through which actions are done; subtle body, the mind and the sense organs, and the karmendriyas, all of them together. And then causal body represents the are vrittis or vasanas that are stored in the causal body through all our earlier janmas. So, Anita, you want to ask something?
Sir, could you repeat about the reflecting medium? Is that Maya?
Yeah, this reflecting medium is projected by Maya, right? So, at the total level, it is called Paramatma, right? And at the individual level, it is called the Jivatma, right? So, that is the reflected consciousness which is given that name, right? The reflected consciousness which is given the name of Paramatma and Jivatma, right? These are the names at the total level. But we also give them different names at the individual parts also. I'll share that separately and then we'll come back again here. I'll just share that here.
So जिस वजह से वो रिफ्लेक्शन हो रही है वो माया है.
Mhm. So when we are looking at here, the Brahman, the Supreme Being, along with his power, Prakriti, which has three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, we can also call it Maya. So from this Maya is projecting the whole world. This whole world is in the form of reflecting mediums. One medium, the total is one medium, and one medium is the individuals. They are composed. So here we have to clearly understand the individual is together a part of all of this. You cannot separate the individual. That is why if you try to separate, the individual will not survive. So individual has to understand that I am in a whole as a part of this universe. So like it is represented also in our Shastras, especially the Atharva Veda, as what we call Indrajal. Indrajal, we think of what? What does Indrajal suggest to you? Anyone knows the literal understood meaning of Indrajal? Anita, Ushita? Hmm?
माया जाल.
Mayajal, what do you say something? It's something a magician performs. It's called magic. Indrajal means magic. Yes. So it is an illusion, of course. It is an illusion, Maya. That is also correct. So it is a projection. But Maya is what there? Indrajal is like a net where at every point, every joint, there is a diamond. That diamond reflects all the other diamonds. So within every individual is a reflection of the whole universe. And whatever that individual does, it sends vibrations to each and every part of the universe. If it is strong, it will reach farther. If it is light, it will reach less, only the close people, right? So whatever we do, everything that we even think, that impacts the people around us and even the whole universe. Depends on how strong and intense and pure our thoughts are. And the impure also. Impure thoughts will also affect more people, right? So these reflecting mediums, we give them different names. So that we call them the three sharirams: Sthul Sharir, Karan Sharir, and Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, and Karan Sharir for the individual. Same for Ishwar also. The Sthul Prapancham, the Sukshma Prapancham, and the Karan Prapancham. Prapancham represents the whole universe, right? Nothing very complicated about it. So when the consciousness is reflecting of all of these mediums, then at the total level we have given the name Paramatma. At the individual level, Jivatma. But also at different levels we have given different names. No need to be very confused, right? It's just a terminology. So when the consciousness is reflecting of the gross body, then for the individual we give the name of that reflected consciousness as Vishwa. So Vishwa is not the gross body, be very clear. It is the reflected consciousness that is reflecting of the gross body. That is making the gross body functional. Just like the sun is giving energy to all the beings, this reflected consciousness is giving the energy to the individual. So that is why this reflection is different for Ishwar and us. For us, the reflection is very weak, small, controlled. And for Ishvara, it is very wide, big. So that is why we say Ishvara is Vishuddha Sattva Guna. He has all knowledge. He is omniscient because the whole universe is his body. So his consciousness is reflecting through his whole body of the universe. So he knows everything. So he is situated as the inner consciousness within us also, which we call the Antaryami, right? So when this consciousness is reflecting of the gross body, then we name it, we also gave a different name, RC1, RC2, RC3, RC4, RC5, RC6. So you can understand that also. Consciousness reflecting of the gross body is called Vishwa, RC1. Consciousness reflecting of the subtle body is called Tejasa or RC2. Consciousness reflecting of the causal body is called Pragya, RC3, these are all Jivatma at the Jiva level. And then again, this same very consciousness reflecting of the whole universe, the Samashti Shariram, the Lord of the universe. Then at the gross level, that is called the Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara or RC4. Then of the subtle body of the universe, or the subtle universe, that is Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic womb we call it. So Hiranyagarbha is the consciousness reflecting of the gross subtle body, of the total subtle body, sorry. And that we can name it RC5. And then finally Ishvara, or some use the term here Antaryami, because Ishvara sometimes you also use for the total Paramatma. So there we can use Paramatma, we can use Ishvara here, but if it confuses you, you can say Antaryami here. So Antaryami is what again? Antaryami is the consciousness reflected of the total causal body, right? So all these are different consciousness, but it appears different. Same consciousness only. So just like one sun is reflecting, and there are, say, so many buckets. This is example given Kathopanishad. So all of these reflections appear small or big according to the reflecting medium, and they also appear many. But there is one sun only, and there are so many reflecting mediums. So this whole universe is a projection of that Brahman. And this material that we see, what we call the what we have seen here is this reflecting medium that is coming from Prakriti, that is the Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir. These are all the projections, or what we call Nama Rupa, name and forms. So all these names and forms constitute the different objects and beings of the universe, and they reflect this consciousness. But these beings are also projected from consciousness, right? Just like a hologram. So you can pass your hand through it. It's not real. It's just a projection. Similarly, every being is said to be a projection. Is it called a hologram or a hologram?
Hologram.
Hologram. Yeah. You see those in the Star Wars movies, no? Those beings, they're talking to you, but he's not there actually. So those when you see those things, you can understand. No, we have living example in front of you, even in the wall. where you can see something as a projection. So these projections, or you can see a movie on the screen. So if there is a movie, then you can see the beings moving, but actually it is nothing but the screen. Similarly, this whole universe is nothing but Brahman, right? So all of these are projections from Brahman. And the first point we have to understand now here is what we did, what was the Vyashti Samashti Vivek, that is the individual is a part of this whole universe. That means this whole cosmos is one living, breathing organism. Right. And we are all parts of that organism. Right. So that is why we cannot detach. That is why we have to support every being in the universe. We have to love, we have to care, we have to give whatever we can to every being in the universe. Of course, if some being is harming the others, we have to stop him also. So all that is part of the universe story I told you earlier also. So in this universe story, whenever we realize the oneness with the universe, we share love, we nourish the whole universe around us, whatever our connections are. And when we nourish those connections nourish, come back to nourish us also. You know, where you drop one stone in the water and the waves will go on increasing and increasing and increase all around. It's a ripple effect, right? So that same ripple effect works when we do any kind of activity or action in the universe. The more good we do for other people around us, the more it will come back to us, right? So in this way, so if you throw a stone a bit far off into the water, the ripples will come back to you. They'll come your way also. But if you throw it only near to you, it will go away from you. So as long as your ripples are only for your body, they will go away from you. They will not benefit you for too much. But if you give your ripples away from your body, you will get lots of them back to you. So this whole universe is one single organism, one manifest universe through which we are all connected with each other. And the more we realize this, we have to realize that our duty is to do more and more actions and generate more and more resources so that the resources are available for maximum number of people. And we can take our own little share, but we have to give much more than what we are consuming, because we are also getting so much back from this universe. So in this way, I and this universe are one, right? I and this universe are one. So this is also represented in a lot of stories and in the Upanishads also. So like we were looking at Kathopanishad. So there, this is a story of my favorite character in the Upanishads is Nachiketas. The Nachiketas is a young boy. He's maybe 10 years old or 8 years. Some say 8, 10, 12, all different versions give different ages. His age is not mentioned, but he's a small boy. He is watching his son, who is doing his father. Nachiketas, sorry, is watching his father, Vajashravas. He is doing a Samashti Yagya. He's doing a Yagya where he's giving away everything. So that is the Yagya where you give away all that you have. So that purpose of giving away all is not that you become empty. You give whatever you possess and you will get much back in return. That is the law of the universe, what we call Yagya Bhava. So when this Yagya he is doing, then he watches his father who is giving away all the weak and about to die cows, those who are nearing their death. So he wonders why, if your father is giving something that is not of use to the people who will be getting them, then his punyam will be lost. So he was worried. So he told him, why are you, he told him, all these things that you are giving away, whom will you give me? Because I am also your possession. I am also your son. So he said, you should give me also away. So father was very surprised. Why is he saying this? He didn't realize that he was just pointing to the fact that he's not giving away enough. But he didn't do it in a malicious way. He didn't do it in a way to insult him. But he was a bit disturbed and he said, okay, I give you to Mrityu. Mrityum dadati aham tam tasma. I give you to death. So the moment he said that, his son said, okay, I agree. Whatever my father has said, I will obey. So his father was starting to feel guilty. What did I say? I said in a fit of rage or whatever when I was disturbed. So he said, no, 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 I didn't mean that. But his son said, no, if you said so, I have to do it. So he went to Mrityu, the Lord Yama. And Yama Dharma Raja then gave him the knowledge, Atma Jnana. So that is a huge, long story. That is the full Upanishad in the essence. But this Upanishad, it represents the nature of the human being, how we behave in the universe and how we should behave in the universe. And this behavior we have to take. So this bhava, what we call, this is called the yajna bhava. This yajna bhava is the feeling of giving to the universe and connecting to the universe and seeing the whole universe as one. What does that mean? What is this universe? What is this whole reflecting medium? Ishvara. So you have to see Ishvara in everything. You have to connect to the universe. You have to see God in everything. And when you do that, it is expressed in one very beautiful Upanishad verse of Ishavasya Upanishad. The first mantra, it is a very beautiful mantra, a favorite of lot of people, and it expresses the whole crux of spirituality. So what does it say? Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitaha magrid kasya svidhanam. So this concept that we are talking, it is expressed here. What does it mean? Ishavasyam idam sarvam. First understand and imagine or conceptualize that this whole world is pervaded by the Lord, Ishavasyam. It is covered. Everything is God. There is nothing but God only. Idagam sarvam. Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Everything, every smallest of beings, smallest of atoms that you can imagine, that is pervaded by God. Everything is pervaded by God. What does that mean? If everything is God, everything belongs to God. Nothing is mine. This individual that I have mistakenly projected myself as, this ego that I'm taking as this person, because this consciousness, whenever it is functioning or reflecting through whatever medium, we start to think of ourselves as the medium, right? So when this consciousness is reflecting of our gross, subtle and causal body, हमारे स्थूल, सूक्ष्म और कारण शरीर से, then we start thinking of ourselves as this body, this gross, subtle and causal body, right? So this consciousness is actually the source of everything. So that is why we can call it God, or we can call it the reality. So this reality is the source of everything. So yat kinchit jagatyam jagat, everything has come from there. Then tena tyaktena bhunjitaha. So give up this world and then enjoy it. What does this mean? Such a beautiful meaning it has. It means that because we in our mind, we think of ownership of this world. This is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Ye mera, ye mera. Ye kyun nahi mila? Why didn't I get this? Because of that, we suffer maximum pain. So we have to give up our sense of ownership and then enjoy. Then enjoy everything that is given by us, given to us by the Lord. Of course, Shankaracharya here takes it in the sense of sannyas. He is of course supreme sannyasi, but this sense actually means to enjoy. There is no harm in enjoying. You are supposed to enjoy whatever the Lord has given without getting attached. That is the secret ingredient, secret key. So tena taktena bhunjitaha magrid kasya siddhanam. Don't covet anything. Nothing is yours. This dhanam everywhere. So when we have this attitude, we will go through life without being disturbed. Someone said this to me. Oh, I am angry. Why did someone insult me? I am angry. Why did someone take something that was mine? I am angry. Why was someone disturbing me when I'm doing something? I am angry. So we have so many things on which to be angry about. The moment we learn to moment we learn to surrender ourselves to these as manifestations of God, then we cease to be disturbed by all of these things, right? So then this universe we have understood, everything is a projection of the single consciousness. So now the concept, what is the main concept behind this in terms of Atma, in terms of spirituality? So in terms of the spirit, what is this? We call this Brahman as of the nature of Satchit Anand Rupa. All consciousness comes from him. All existence comes from him. All joy comes from him. So he is the whole source of everything. So when Brahman is Satchit Anand Swarupa, the whole universe is a projection of him, or is a what we call manifestation of that Brahman. So when Brahman has manifest this universe, now what are the reflecting mediums? Nothing but Brahman, nothing but that very same consciousness and bliss. And so, and what are these? All of these individual gross bodies and subtle body and causal body, they are also projections from Brahman, and the consciousness that is reflecting of that is also Brahman. So all the reflecting mediums, they are projections from Brahman, and all the reflected consciousness also is a reflection of Brahman from those reflecting medium. That means that the individual being that I think of myself, that is also that original consciousness, that is also that Atma. You can call it consciousness, but in a whole sense, it is Atma only. So I am also just Atma, and that Brahman is also Atma, and that connection between us is simply not of difference, but that connection is of oneness, Ekyam. That Ekyam represents what we call Samatva, Sambhav. Sambhav represents what? When I know that I am Atma, everything else is Atma, then I see no one as different from me. So I cannot have any kind of hatred or any kind of aversion towards any being in the universe. So this way, I learn my unity with the whole of the world, and that is represented by what we call the Mahavakyams in the Mahavakyams of the Vedic system. So we'll just go back to the text now. Just go to the text and see what it says about all of this. So evam पिंड ब्रह्मांडयोः ऐक्यं संभूतम् एवं पिंड ब्रह्मांडयो ऐक्यं संभूतम् स्थूल शरीराभिमानी जीव नामकं ब्रह्म प्रतिबिंबं भवति स एव जीवः प्रकृत्या स्वस्मात् ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति. And then अविद्या उपाधि सन् आत्मा जीव इति उच्यते मायोपाधि सन ईश्वर उच्यते. और एवं उपाधि भेदात जीवेश्वर भेद दृष्टि यावत् पर्यंतम तिष्ठति तावत् पर्यंतम जन्म मरण आदि रूप संसार न निवर्तते. तस्मात् कारणात् जीवेश्वरयोः भेद बुद्धि न स्वीकार्यः. So whatever we have learned so far is being said here. Evam pinda brahmandayoho ekyam sambhutam. In this way, the individual and the total are same, one only. They are inseparable, indifferent. They are not separate entities. Why? At the level of consciousness or at the level of essence. The essence of both is the same. Both the individual, of course, the reflecting medium is different. So if there is a concave mirror, then the reflection will be small or big. Focal length kitni hoti hai? Small. So its focal length is going to project inwards, it will be small. So when it's concave, when it's concave mein big hoga. Concave will big. Yeah, you look at your mirror like this. Oh, right. Sorry, concave mirror will be big. And the convex mirror is the one you have in cars. Okay. So there it will be small. So depending on the medium, the object reflected will appear big or small, but the object is the same. My same original face is the same, but in one mirror it will appear big, another will appear small. So in this way, this whole universe, at the macro level is Ishvara, at the individual and micro level. So not micro. मेरा कौवा नहीं है कोई भी. I don't have any crows, but at the micro, Nitin is smiling, always papa jokes. So pind brahmandayoho ekyam sambhutam. This appearance is only superficial. There is no actual difference. So how do we express this? Sthul sharir abhimani jeev namakam Pratibimbam bhavati. So when this consciousness is reflecting of the sthul sharir, and in that you include both the other sharir also. It is not mentioned, but you can include sthul sharir, sukshma sharir, and karan sharir abhimani is jiva. So jiva is what? The the consciousness reflecting of the individual Sthul, Sukshma and Karan Sharir. And so the association, what we call Adhyasa. Adhyasa is what? When something is reflecting of this medium, then we mistake it for something else, right? So in the Upanishads, one example is given. If there is a transparent crystal, right? And you keep that crystal itself has no color, right? You bring a red hibiscus flower is the example given, a red flower. And that crystal will start to reflect that color and it will appear red, right? So that is adhyasa. The crystal itself does not have any color, but because of the close proximity of that other flower, it appears to take on the color, right? So in this same way, this consciousness, when it is reflected of our three sharirams, three bodies, then we take on the color of the three sharirs and we think of ourselves. We think that the sharirams are having this consciousness seems to take on the properties of the shariram, whereas actually consciousness is without any name and form, so it cannot have any properties. Right? So if all the five elements have five different properties, but what about Atma? How many properties it has? No properties. Otherwise, it would not be. Otherwise, it would be visible if it had properties, but it is not visible. So this is Jeev Namakam Brahma Pratibhimbam Bhavati. This is a reflection of Brahman only. That Brahman's reflection is Jeev only. But when do we give it the name of Jiva? Jiva, that is when it is Sthul Sharira Abhimani, when it is reflecting of our bodies. And Sa Eva Jiva Prakritya Swasmat Ishwaram Bhinnatvena Janati. So this Jiva, he thinks of himself as small. Ishvara is so big. I am so weak. He is so strong. I have little knowledge. Alpagyaha. He has all knowledge. He is Sarvagyaha. So all these differences he sees himself. He sees. So sa eva jivaha prakritya, naturally, that jiva naturally, swasmat ishwaram bhinnatvena janati. He thinks of himself as different from that Ishvara. Of course, we are different from Ishvara, but only at the reflecting medium level. But at the original level, we are not. Yeah. So, avidya upadhi san atma jiva iti uchyate. So, avidya is the upadhi. Avidya is the reflecting medium through which this atma is functioning. So, when this atma has the upadhi of avidya, then it is called jiva. It is jiva iti uchyate. It is said. Jiva उसे कहते हैं जीव. So this, what is this avidya? Avidya is the ignorance through which we consider ourselves as the Sthula, Sukshma and Karan Shariram, and that is why we mistake of ourselves as that. So I am repeating this because we need to be very clear about this, then only we can move forward. And then again, Mayo Padhihi San Ishvaraha Ityuchyate. So what about Ishvara? He is the total reflecting medium. So there, what is the upadhi? Maya. Because what is the difference? Jiva, he is controlled by Maya. So he has avidya upadhi. He does not have knowledge. Ishvara, he has all knowledge. But because it is his nature, he is infinite. So he has to manifest the different worlds. So he manifests according to our guna and karma, according to our actions. So हमारे कर्मों के अनुसार वो जगत बना देते हैं. He creates the universe according to our karmas, according to our action. So this universe is manifested by Ishvara. So his upadhi is Maya. So there Ishvara is taking the upadhi of Maya. So for him, his whole body, or as we saw, the whole universe in its three bodies, or three, what we call prapancham, Sukshma prapanch, Sthul prapanch, Karan prapanch, all of these, when are reflecting the consciousness, that name given to it is Ishvara. So now, what about these differences? Evam upadhi bhedat, 30th. Evam upadhi bhedat, Jeev Ishwar Bheda Drishti, Yavat Paryantam Tishtati. So because of this difference in upadhi, my upadhi is small, Ishvara is big. So Jeev Ishvara Bheda Drishti. We have a difference in vision of Jiva and Ishvara. This Drishti is not the correct vision. This is the erroneous vision. So here the drishti we are talking about is not the correct drishti. Here it is the drishti that is clouded by Maya. So because of Maya's what we call a veil that covers our eyes, I am not able to see my true nature because it is so subtle and I am perceiving through what? Through my sense organs. Sense organs cannot perceive it. So who is perceiving? The consciousness, the witness. There my attention does not go because I am always looking outwards. I am never looking inwards. कहाँ से आ रहा है वहां नहीं ध्यान जाता. So from where it is coming, I don't know. So this उपाधि भेद remains. एवं उपाधि भेदा जीव ईश्वर भेद दृष्टि यावत पर्यंतम तिष्ठति. Till as long as this difference remains, तावत पर्यंतम जन्म मरण आदि रूप संसारः न निवर्तते. Right? So the more the distance between me and Ishvara, this samsara will be there with all its problems, pains, and whatever bindings and vasanas. So they will always keep me trapped. But the moment I decrease the distance, I become one with Ishvara. I become close to Ishvara. When I become close to Ishvara, bhakti. So when then all my problems they disappear because for me my mind is fixed only on Ishvara. So whenever a problem comes, this is your prasadam. I will take it. I will enjoy it. This situation, tough situation has come. It has come to help me grow, help me learn to deal with things. So I will take it as a prasadam. So sansara will trouble us less. But when I totally associate myself, when I see no distance, when this bhed is totally finished, I and Paramatma or me and the Paramatma are same, then there is no difference. Then sansara totally goes away. Sansara will, what we call nivartate. It will cease to affect us. Of course, the things will not go away. Don't think that the universe will disappear the moment jnanam comes. Whenever knowledge comes, it is not that it will disappear. Right? So I explained so many times in other examples. So I'm seeing the sun go around the earth, even though the earth is rotating, but I'm still seeing the sun. That does not mean the sun next day, mujhe gyan ho gaya, I have gained knowledge. So I know that it is actually the earth that is going around and not the sun. But still again, I will see the sun going around the earth. So this universe also will still remain in front of me. But I will live with the knowledge that I am Atma and this universe is just a projection. And so the things will appear, trouble me less. When you watch a movie, maybe you get sad for some time. Do you remain sad after that also? No, you don't, right? Because you know it's a story only. Yeah, it depends on the movie. Because sometimes some movies are depicting real events. That is when it affects you more. Something has happened or something similar they are representing. They represent. So it depends on how much you are associated. So jitna आपका जीव और ईश्वर का भेद कम है, the more you are associated with that movie, the more it affects you. So tasmat karanat जीव ईश्वरयोः भेद बुद्धि न स्वीकार्य. Because we have understood clearly that all of this is a projection of that same Atma, so we cannot accept the difference between Jeev Ishvara. So because of that reason, why do we want to live being sad all our lives or being troubled all our lives? No, we don't. We all seek joy. We all seek happiness, right? So when we seek happiness, then for that to happen, we have to understand that I and Ishvara are non-different, right? So because we all are seeking joy, we have to understand our true nature, and then only we will be able to deal with the problems of the world. So it is not that the problems will go away, but I have to understand that I cannot change everything. That is the first aspect, right? This is a projection of this universe is a projection of the vasanas of so many jivas. So they are all going to be living out their lives according to their vasanas, right? So from vasana, what is the rule? The rule is whenever we experience something, we develop an affinity vasana. Whenever that as vasana increases, all those things that we have big vasanas for, they become our habit. हमारी आदत बन जाती है. We regularly indulge in those things. Coffee is my addiction. I want coffee every day. Tea is my addiction. I want tea every day. So in this way, they become our habits, and they also become our what we call addictions. And then slowly those habits, as they become more solidified over time, in our case, so many janmas. So all those janmas, they solidify our vasanas into such a solid state that they become what we call our character. So a lot of us are introvert, lot of us are extrovert. Is it easy to change that? It is not. Extrovert will remain extrovert all his life. It is not easy. That character is built from so many generations, so many janma, so many births. So that is why we have to let go. So the more we let go of these association, the more freedom we have. Right? So we hear in Western philosophy about fate and free will. Right? So fate and free will. So in our philosophy, we will learn more about this later also when we go into karma theory. But for now, we have to understand that wherever our association is, that level, that will be our level of freedom. That will be our level. So if my association is with my own body, my freedom will be very, very limited. But if my association is with my family, then my freedom will be more, and so on. If my association is with the whole universe, my freedom will be much more. And if I have no association, my freedom is infinite. That is the concept of yuga also. For everyone, for the yuga is different. The yuga is can be few milliseconds. Yuga can be billions of years. So it depends on what level the jiva is functioning. For Brahmaji, the yuga is so many billions of years. For humans, it is smaller, 100 years. So, and in this way, yuga is also different. And also our, whatever we are thinking about. So that we will do the yoga theory also one day in full detail. I had done that class, but I think I did it for people who were not prepared. So maybe they didn't grasp it fully. But the video is online on YouTube. Maybe you can watch sometime. So तस्मात् कारणात् जीव ईश्वरयोः भेद बुद्धि न स्वीकार्य. Why don't we accept? ननु सा अहंकारस्य किंचिद्यस्य जीवस्य निरअहंकारस्य सर्वज्ञस्य ईश्वरस्य तत्त्वमसि इति महावाक्यात् कथम भेद बुद्धि स्यात् उभयोः. Very long sentence. I will explain it slowly. So, viruddha dharma krantatvat iti chet. So, the student is objecting. You are saying tasmat karana jiveshwaryo bhed buddhi na svikarya. I cannot accept this difference, this notion of difference. Why? But I cannot understand, Guruji. You are saying, but it is does not going inside my dumb mind. You are trying to inject me with that knowledge, but it's still not going inside. Why? Because Nanu is a what we call a statement of Purva Paksha, stating the opposite from what is being said. So whatever is being said, Siddhanta, opposition, Purva Paksha. So, or it can be used other way also. If someone is saying something to raise an objection. So he says, Sa ahankarasya. I, this jiva, I am with ahankar. That is why I think of myself as this very small being. And my ahankar is such that it's changing every moment. So every moment I am a different being. So now I am a teacher, then I'll be a sleeper, then I'll be a businessman, then I'll be a father, a son, and whatever. So whatever my associations, every moment I'm changing. Sa ahankarasya. And so because of that, I am very limited. So kinchit gyasya. I have very little knowledge. Jivasya, me the jiva. So this jiva is with ahankara and of very little knowledge. And what about the reverse? Ishvara nirahankarasya. He has no ahankar. He is projecting the world only based on the vasanas of the jivas. He has no desire of his own. Right? So Ishvara is not creating for his own benefit. He is creating for the benefit of all the individual jivas and their vasanas. So nirahankarasya sarvagyasya. He is all knowing, and you can add all compassionate, all merciful, all those qualities you associate with Ishvara. Similarly, all the qualities of limitedness you can associate with Jiva. So, Ishwarasya, this, how can I accept this, these two being similar by which you enumerate by the Mahavakya. Tattvam asi iti Mahavakyat. Katham bhed buddhi syad ubhayo. How can this sentence, Tattvam asi iti, what does the Tattvam asi means? That I am that. So this is the teacher or the father saying to his son that you are that consciousness only. You are non-different from Brahman. So you are Brahman only. So Tat represents that which is the universal essence, which is Brahman. And Tvam is you, the individual. You, the individual, are same in essence as that Brahman. So Tattvam Asi, the Mahavakya, that is the Mahavakya means does not mean a very big long sentence. It means a very strong and very powerful statement. So this powerful statement tells us the unity of the individual and the total. So this how can this knowledge how can I accept this knowledge which is being enumerated, which is being given by this Mahavakya Tattvam Asi. So Viruddha Dharma Krantvat iti chet, because they both have very opposing natures. Viruddha Dharma, opposite natures. So the opposite natures of Jiva and Ishvara make it difficult for me to accept the unity of both of these. So this we will understand more later on, but just a little bit I'll say on the Mahavakyams. So Mahavakyams are so many, they are all enumerating the oneness of the individual and the total, that is Jivatma and Paramatma. Jiva is the consciousness functioning through the individual. The Paramatma is the consciousness functioning through the total. So we have seen this again and again, but the consciousness is one and the same. They are not different. That is why they both are same. And even the reflecting medium that we call is also projected out of the same Atma only. So nothing is different from that. So in that sense, they are same. So we basically categorize the Mahavakyams into four. So they are, first of all is the one that most of us would have heard. This is Tattvamasi, of course, and then Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi would have heard. And then we have Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. And then we have Prajnanam Brahma. And then we have Ayam, Atma, Brahma. So all of these represent they are coming from different Upanishads or different Vedas. So, like I am Atma Brahma, my Atma, my inner essence is Brahman only. So this comes from the Mandukya Upanishad. Or if you go to the Veda, then Atharva Veda. And then Tattvamasi, it comes from the Chandogya Upanishad. So there, the father is teaching the son. So I will tell this story in the next class. So this is from the Samaveda. And then Aham Brahmasmi. So this is from the Brihadaranya Upanishad. So this is Yajurveda. And then Prajnanam Brahma is from the Rig Veda, Aitariya Brahman. So you can note them down, you can search them out. These are the four main ones. Why are these four main ones taken? Because they represent what we call the four levels. So if we say Tattvamasi, that is we call the Upadesh Vakyam. So उपदेश something is taught to you. आपको बताया, आपको नहीं पता है, you don't know, है ना? So that is Tattvamasi. So it is indicating to you the nature. Then we have Aham Brahmasmi. So Aham Brahmasmi, I am that only. I am that Brahman only. So there, what is it is becoming? I am applying that knowledge to myself, right? So here it is the application of that knowledge, whatever the teacher has taught. And then comes Prajnanam Brahma. So that consciousness itself is Brahman. So when I start analyzing that the teacher has told me Aham Brahmasmi, then what is Brahman? That is the Prajnanam, the knowledge, the consciousness. So consciousness is Brahman. And then finally, the sentence of the Mahavakyam of self-realization. I am Atma Brahma. So that represents my Atma is itself is Brahman. My Atma and Brahman are not different Atmas. So that is the what we call Mahavakyam of experiencing it yourself. When you have that experience on your own. So पहले टीचर ने बताया, फिर आपने the teacher told it to you, then you started thinking in that way, then you made a comparison, and then finally you felt yes, I am that Atma. So these Mahavakyams, they will reveal to us our true nature. That indication is done through what we call Lakshyartha and Vachyartha, the two meanings of a sentence. So every sentence has what we call a Vachyartha, the direct meaning, and then the Lakshyartha, the indicative meaning. So these we will understand in the next class. So I think we'll wind up for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Tat Sat.